up, everybody? Well, I got another gameplay video for you guys on the secondary computer here, and today we're going to try ourselves out some Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Sorry, my stupid bowl kept on going. Most of the time I don't notice, but I did this time, so I figured I would try to stop it. Anyway, so far, on most of the powerful systems, it's been doing a great job. Now, on the Asus G50 Advantage, it did great at 1080p, 1440p, it couldn't quite stay over 60 with high settings, but it is what it is. That thing is 3 years old, and it was never a high-end system really to begin with. I mean, I would have considered it the top end of middle range to maybe the bottom end of high end. That's where I would have placed it when I got it brand new. But now it's absolutely mid-range. And eventually, we'll drop down in the low end. And just the way electronics go. But I'm gonna keep making videos on that G50 Advantage until it can't play games or it dies, whichever happens first. Anyway, let's see how it runs on a really, really good AMD computer. Well, basically almost top of the line. About the only way you can beat this is if you put a 9800X3D in there, which just doesn't seem worth it for ultra wide with only a 7900 XTX. Maybe I'd get like a huge uptick in FPS, I don't know. But why don't we go ahead and hop into the game and see how it plays.
All right, we're gonna try this just maxed out. Now, obviously, I'd try it with path tracing and ray tracing and all that stuff. If it would let me, it wouldn't probably work well anyway, but I'd still give it a shot. But it won't even let me. So, it's all good, though. And hey, now we got that thing on cinematic, too. I'm glad. I was like, wait, this game doesn't support ultra-wide? That's kind of lame. This would be like the perfect kind of game for ultra-wide, super cinematic. But I figured it out. But now, let's get into the game. Let's see how it does. Well, now, here we are in the game. And since it runs so good, just maxed out, I just figured we'd get like 10 minutes of gameplay, camera, and screen. So we'll start with screen as usual. And then I'll go do the exact same thing that we just went through without the recording, just so you can see what it is unadulterated. I don't think it takes that many, but it's probably like 3 or 4 FPS, something like that. So I still like to do it. And sometimes it makes stutter. Like I think right up here, some computers stutter going down this hill up here. And then after that, I never see another stutter after that. Yeah, see that right there. And who knows, it might have just been recording. But I think after it does it the first time, it never happens again, even if I restart the game or whatever. So that's what makes me think it was probably recording. Or just completely random. Because I guess if it was recording, why would it do it when I stop the game and go back in? You'd think if it cleared the kit out of the cache and the RAM every time, it would just go, hey, I'm going to do it every single time in this spot. Because I have to do whatever it is I did that made me stutter there, you know? But after that, it's butter smooth. And yes, the game's not the most graphically intensive game ever, but it's not like it looks bad at all. I still think it looks great for what it is. And I will take a game that just looks great instead of excellent and runs this smooth over a game that looks a little bit better, but then runs like horribly and has stutters everywhere and what have you. Or the kind of game where I'd have to move over to console and play it at 30 FPS, although the Pro seems to solve some of that, but it's not a miracle worker. There's still a lot of games like I thought, like are going to be CPU bottleneck, where it's going to fall flat on its face and not want to get good frame rates, or the upscaler is going to look worse than the old freaking PlayStation. Doesn't happen on very many games, but still does happen. So it was kind of funny to watch the fanboys get owned in the face. If there's anything I love, it's watching fanboys getting owned. Like, heck, even NVIDIA fanboys. Like, I've got a 4090, but before it came out, there were so many people clamoring, oh, it's going to do 4K path tracing at like 120 FPS. And I'm sitting here like, you are out of your mind. It's probably going to be like the 2080 Ti and get like unplayable FPS. Unless you use FrameGen and what have you, and DLSS, and I was 100% right. I mean, now with the updates and whatnot, maybe it's more playable. When path tracing update first came up, it was basically unplayable. With native 4K and all that. And even with DLSS, it was pretty close to dropping under 60 at times. So I had to use FrameGen to keep it above. And then that, for some reason, that game, it adds like some stutters here and there, which kind of defeats the purpose of it. I'll use it if it gets me a smooth frame time, but if it's going to add input lag and then stutters on top of that input lag, well, fuck that. I don't want anything to do with that. But if I'm getting like 160 FPS with stutters, but then I turn it on and it says I'm not really getting it, I know, but it says I'm getting 200 with no stutters, I'll take that. Again, I know I'm not really getting 200 FPS, but I will accept the nice frame times. I mean, unless the thing fucks up the recordings and that frame time isn't real when you're using FrameGen. That could be. I'm not a programmer. I don't know how all that works. All I can do is read what the Afterburner window tells me. I never trusted these guys right from the get-go.
This is it. This is where Forrestal cashed in.
Friend of yours?
A competitor. He was good. He was very, very good.
Senor, nobody has come out of there alive. Please.
All right, well, in we go. Damn tarantulas. As I said in another video, they don't like do webs like that, so I always thought, even as a kid, the scene was cringe. And even my grandpa was like agreeing with me when we were watching this when I was a kid, and I was like, yeah, it does not seem like those do that. I know there's the funnel weaving ones that make them in the ground, but those look kind of like tarantulas, but they might even be considered a different type of spider. I don't think any tarantulas make webs. Could be wrong, but I don't think they really make webs, at least like in that way. But obviously, if you're on the internet and you make a claim like that and you're wrong, someone will let you know. So we will see if that ever happens. Alright, you get out of my way. You had your chance. Now, get out of your way for a real explorer. Alright, so they want me to duck here. A couple of times I didn't really pay attention to this. Stay out of the light, and then just got hit by arrows anyway.
Let us hurry. There is nothing to fear here.
That's what scares me.
Yep, if something looks too easy or too good to be true, it almost always is. So if he would have walked out there, yep, arrowed.
That did it. That's it. Give me the whip.
And this guy is so freaking lame. I saved his butt so many times. But whatever, karma gets him pretty fast. And sometimes it has like a stutter jumping over to there too. But I think it's something to go in between the freaking 30 to 60 FPS. And I'm not gonna lie, I have to stop myself from laughing maniacally every time I see that guy's facial expressions during this part. Still though, the game seems like a pretty fun little game. That's just kind of like, similar to the movie style games on PlayStation. You just kind of walk around, press, you know, X or another button every once in a while, and just have some fun if that's your thing. I don't mind these kind of games. I mean, heck, if I was gonna say I hated these, I'd be a hypocrite. I still love like the Yakuza games and all that stuff, and those have lots of talking and hit this button during this time. But then they've also got like fights and all that stuff too, where you gotta be a badass or you lose. So it's not completely apples to apples. But they still have lots of talking, so if I said that I don't like story-driven games, that would be a bold-faced lie. I don't like to do that. Ooh, I would have tried to roll over to the side or something. That's about your only chance. Anyway, let's move on to camera.
Now let's get ourselves a little camera recorded gameplay here. Alright, and we didn't get that stutter this time. So I think that happens like one time, the first time you come down here, and then I think that's it. I think it's done that on all my computers so far. So that means there's probably going to be intervals that do that for the first time every time. I'm just going to bed. Alright, bye-bye, Peruvian porter guy. Yes, they could. But we shouldn't worry. Because I'm Indiana Jones.
I think they were intent on coming back.
Ouvidos are near. Poison is still fresh, 3 days. They're following us.
If they knew we were here, they would have killed us already.
This is it. This is where Forrestal cashed in.
A friend of yours.
A competitor. He was good. He was very, very good.
Senor, nobody has come out of there alive. Please.
You first.
Don't mind if I do.
See ya.
Look on the terror. I mean, I probably would have just fainted, to be perfectly honest with you. I can't stand the spiders. Give me snakes any day, even though I know snakes can probably be arguably just as bad, if not worse. And there's those freaking spiders that'll fuck you up if they bite you, and there's some snakes that'll fuck you up if they bite you. At least in Michigan, I only have to worry about
Stop.
one. The Michigan Mississauga.
Stay out of the light.
And they're very rare. And even if you do get bit, unless you're like got a really bad immune system, or you're elderly or really young, or it's a baby and it injects everything it's got into you, you're probably gonna be just fine. Same thing with spiders. You got like Black Widow is not the worst thing you gotta worry about here. You just got brown recluse and whatnot. They're both spiders too, but
You said he was very good.
He was. Just not good enough.
Are you?
Guess we'll find out.
Let us hurry. There is nothing to fear here.
That's what scares me.
That did it. That's it. Give me the whip.
No me the idol.
Give me the whip.
Adios, señor.
Adios, vida. Eric, it's someone named Eric.
Man, I knew 10 years. I learned to hate you in the last 10 years. Where the hell were you? Damn it, don't you leave me down here by myself!
And alright, I would say that is a great time for us to wrap this video on up.
Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Indiana Jones, the Great Circle, on the secondary computer here, and it did great. Obviously, we couldn't test out path tracing or ray tracing, but heck, it probably would have been able to even handle a little small ray tracing, but path tracing, it would have fallen flat on its face and gotten like 10 FPS or 5 FPS or something. Hopefully one day, AMD will be halfway decent at ray tracing for those who care about it, but I didn't get this thing for ray tracing. I already knew it wasn't going to be good at tracing, so in all honesty, I'm kind of glad I don't have to bother testing it. But I still do when I can, for those who care about it. Me, I'm not the biggest fan of it in most games. I can still count the number of games I've actually seen a decent difference on one hand, and people would still probably argue that it isn't worth the frame rate dip and having to rely on a bunch of upscaler and stuff. But hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, right? Anyway, that's all I got for this particular video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.